Have these beings actually given you a glimpse into the future, and are things going to be looking good for us? Or what is some of the scary things that they've been revealing to you, and is there anything we as humans can do?
It's not that they really took me into the future, or maybe they did. You know, when you have the technology they do and you can traverse long distances by, you know, wormholes or whatever, you have to understand time-space. So maybe when I'm with them, I'm in that, you know, if time exists at all. I mean, really, time doesn't, as far as I'm concerned, time doesn't exist. The past doesn't have, the past is no longer, and the future hasn't happened, so everything is about the now. But yeah, they showed me some stuff, some really scary stuff, but they also let me know that it's up to us, and that we have more control than we understand. And the scariest thing they showed me were these, I mean, the whole world was pretty much engulfed in flames, and there was these winds so strong they were scouring the you know, the roads and pavement off the planet. It was quite horrific. And then they showed me different versions of the Earth after this, whatever it is. And, you know, there was a dead gray planet, something that was kind of alive, not really, then something that was more alive, and then this utopian, beautiful world. And they said, look, this is up to you guys. You decide. And then they went on to teach me that humans have an amazing ability. They have an ability to change quantum reality naturally. What that means is what we truly, truly believe, we manifest. One-on-one, we have this power, but it kind of cancels each other out because your version of reality is different than mine. But when you get a bunch of people together, that's when the magic happens. That's why prayer works. That's why, you know, the Maharishi effect works. That's why, you know, we can affect random number generators. It's quite amazing.
Some people throw this out, Stan. What do you think the secrecy is in regards to this? And are the aliens, in fact, themselves trying to cover up and keep it a secret from the public?
That's a possibility. What people need to understand is there are multiple things here with multiple agendas. You know, people wonder, why do some people have very nice, what I call contact experiences, and some people have horrific abduction experiences? Because there are multiple things here with multiple agendas. You have to understand what the word human means. Human doesn't mean we are just from this planet. I saw an interesting clip on, I think it was CNN, about 7 months ago. I was watching CNN late night. The head of the Human Genome Project was on, and he came out point blank and said, oh, and by the way, 30% of human DNA is unaccounted for. We believe it's from off-world. So, what does that mean about humans? Well, if you do any kind of research, you start realizing that humans are probably from somewhere else also. And it looks like they can prove it genetically. So, humans have been manipulated. They've been messed with. Their DNA has been manipulated. They have been designed. So these beings, whoever they are, and there are multiple different things out there, have been coming to visit us for thousands of years. There's so much proof to this, it's unbelievable.
Have the aliens actually taken you to their home planet, and have you seen their lifestyle or cities that they live in, and can you explain to us what it possibly may look like?
It doesn't work like that. If I was, I'd probably be scared out of my gourd. But no, they don't really want us to know too much about where they are. I don't think they really trust us yet. They're trying to help us, but let's face it, we're a young species. We're violent. You know, they've tried over and over again to test the waters. You know, I've had people tell me, oh, I'll believe in UFOs when they land on the White House line. Guess what? I think it was 1942 they tried and we shot at them. So, no, I haven't been to their planet. I have been in a very, very large, at least 1,000-mile long, maybe 500-mile long, obsidian-looking cylinder ship, I guess. accelerating away from it. But again, that's in my book. And, you know, this isn't a dream. This isn't something I made up. This is the real deal. Sadly, how do you explain that to your average person? Oh, and by the way, I've been on an alien spaceship. And they look at you like, oh man, this guy's out of his gourd. But it's the facts.
Stan, you've produced some remarkable equations, mathematical equations that top physicists and mathematicians from around the world have looked at, and they cannot explain. Of somebody of your, intellect can come up with these vast equations. In other words, they prove that a super intelligent entity created them. What do they mean? What were you told they mean? And why were they driven to share it with us and you?
This is how it works. Because I am was such a severe skeptic, it took a few hits over the head with a hammer to get me to start paying attention. And this is what they do. They will present something to you that doesn't make sense at the time, but a couple years later, it's like, holy crap. I mean, it makes sense. They have the ability to know what's going to happen in the future, apparently. Well, during my experiences, they put stuff in my head. That's the only way that I can explain it. And I'm severely dyslexic, have maybe a 5th grade math level. I thought it was gibberish until I had my first regression, hypnotic regression, and it started coming out. Well, what they gave me, the first equation they gave me was a structure for a chemical element that didn't exist at the time. They didn't even have the structure for it. It took the researchers a few years to figure it out, and then finally 2 years later, somebody sent me a newspaper article. Hey, some Russian and German physicists created this new element. That was 2 years afterwards. Some of these equations are known. Some of them are still being worked on, and one of them I wrote, they couldn't understand it until they put it up to a mirror, and when they looked in the mirror, they could read it. I wrote it backwards, apparently. And these are some of the top physicists in the world. There's always an argument. Some guy will come on and say, oh, you copied that off the internet. Well, if you listen, if you do research, and you talk to the physicists involved, they'll tell you, this didn't come off the internet, because the way they were written is as if a professor would write it on a chalkboard. This stuff isn't published. It's just not published.
Do you believe, and have the men in black been following you around, that they are possible ETs themselves, or are using ET technology?